Adamant. Adamant. Refusing to be persuaded or to change one's mind. She was adamant about not attending the party, no matter what her friends said. Ambivalent. Ambivalent. Having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas about something or someone. He felt ambivalent about the job offer. The salary was good, but he didn't like the location. Analogous. Analogous. Comparable in certain respects, typically in a way that makes clearer the nature of the things compared. The structure of an atom is analogous to the solar system, with electrons orbiting the nucleus like planets around the sun. Anomaly. Anomaly. Something that deviates from what is standard, normal, or expected. The sudden drop in temperature was an anomaly for that time of year. Appease. Appease. To make someone less angry or hostile by giving in to their demands. The manager tried to appease the disgruntled employees with a bonus and additional vacation days. Arduous. Arduous. Involving a lot of effort and hard work. Climbing the mountain was an arduous task, requiring both physical strength and mental determination. Benign. Benign. Harmless. The tumor was benign, so there was no need for immediate surgery. Biased. Biased. Showing an unfair preference for or prejudice against something or someone. The judge was removed from the case due to a conflict of interest and a perceived biased opinion. Bolster. Bolster. To support or strengthen. The evidence presented in court helped bolster the defendant's case. Candid. Candid. Truthful and straightforward, frank. Her candid remarks about the project's flaws were appreciated by the team. Capricious. Capricious. Given to sudden and unaccountable changes of mood or behavior. The weather in the mountains is often capricious, changing from sunny to stormy within minutes. Catalyst. Catalyst. An agent that provokes or speeds significant change or action. The new policy acted as a catalyst for much-needed reform in the organization. Clinch. Clinch. To confirm or settle something definitively. The final goal of the game helped clinch the championship for the team. Coerce. Coerce. To persuade an unwilling person to do something by using force or threats. The suspect was coerced into confessing after hours of intense interrogation. Cognizant. Cognizant. Being aware of or having knowledge of something. She was cognizant of the risks involved in the investment but decided to proceed anyway. Condone. Condone. To accept or allow behavior that is considered morally wrong or offensive. The company does not condone any form of discrimination or harassment in the workplace. Confound. Confound. To cause surprise or confusion in someone, especially by acting against their expectations. The sudden success of the startup confounded many industry experts. Conspicuous. Conspicuous. Easily noticeable or attracting attention. The bright red jacket made her conspicuous in the crowd. Construe. Construe. To interpret or understand the meaning of something in a particular way. His comments were construed as an insult by some, though he meant them as a joke. Convoluted. Convoluted. Extremely complex and difficult to follow. The plot of the novel was so convoluted that I had to read it twice to understand the ending. Copious. Copious. Abundant in supply or quantity. She took copious notes during the lecture to ensure she didn't miss any important details. Corroborate. Corroborate. To confirm or give support to a statement, theory, or finding. The witness's testimony helped corroborate the defendant's alibi. Counterintuitive. Counterintuitive. Contrary to what one would intuitively expect. It was counterintuitive to think that eating more could actually help you lose weight. Debilitate. Debilitate. To make someone weak and infirm. The long illness had debilitated him, leaving him too weak to return to work. Debunk. Debunk. To expose the falseness or hollowness of a myth, idea, or belief. The documentary aimed to debunk several popular myths about ancient civilizations. Deference. Deference. Respect and esteem due to an elder or superior. He showed deference to his mentor by listening carefully to his advice. Denigrate. Denigrate. To criticize unfairly, to disparage. The politician's opponents attempted to denigrate his achievements. Discern. Discern. To perceive or recognize something. She could barely discern the details of the painting from across the room. Disregard. Disregard. To pay no attention to, ignore. He chose to disregard the warnings and ski in the dangerous area. Dissonance. Dissonance. Lack of harmony among musical notes or a clash of conflicting ideas. The dissonance in the music created a feeling of tension and unease. Docile. Docile. Ready to accept control or instruction, submissive. The docile puppy was easy to train and quickly learned new commands. Embellish. Embellish. To make something more attractive by adding decorative details, to enhance a story with exaggerated details. She embellished the tale of her vacation with colorful anecdotes and exaggerations. Emulate. Emulate. To match or surpass, a person or achievement, by imitation. He tried to emulate his father's success in the business world. Enigma. Enigma. A person or thing that is mysterious or difficult to understand. The disappearance of the ancient civilization remains an enigma to historians. Esoteric. Esoteric. Intended for or likely to be understood only by a small number of people with specialized knowledge. The professor's lecture on quantum mechanics was too esoteric for most students. Eulogy. Eulogy. A speech or piece of writing that praises someone highly, typically someone who has just died. The eulogy delivered at the funeral celebrated the remarkable life and contributions of the deceased. Exacerbate. Exacerbate. To make a problem or situation worse. His refusal to acknowledge the issue only served to exacerbate the conflict. Exemplary. Exemplary. Serving as a desirable model, representing the best of its kind. Her exemplary performance at work earned her the Employee of the Month award. Expedient. Expedient. Convenient and practical, although possibly improper or immoral. Using a shortcut was expedient, but it violated company policy. Expedient. Expedient. Convenient and practical, although possibly improper or immoral. Using a shortcut was expedient, but it violated company policy. Finesse. Finesse. Skillful handling of a situation or delicate task, to handle with subtlety and skill. She handled the negotiation with great finesse, securing a favorable deal for her company. Fledgling. Fledgling. A young or inexperienced person, just beginning. The fledgling artist struggled to find his unique style in the competitive world of art. Fluctuate. Fluctuate. To change continually, to move up and down. Stock prices tend to fluctuate greatly depending on market conditions. Fluke. Fluke. A surprising chance occurrence, especially a favorable one. Winning the lottery was a fluke, he had never expected such luck. frivolous. Frivolous. Not having any serious purpose or value, trivial. The court dismissed the lawsuit, calling it frivolous and without merit. Garner. Garner. To gather or collect something, especially information or approval. Her research helped garner widespread support for the new policy. Idiosyncrasy. Idiosyncrasy. A distinctive or peculiar feature or characteristic of a place or thing. One of his idiosyncrasies was always tapping his pen when he was thinking. Immutable. Immutable. Unchanging over time or unable to be changed. The laws of physics are considered immutable and universal. Impediment. Impediment. A hindrance or obstruction in doing something. His lack of formal education was seen as an impediment to his career advancement. Impervious. Impervious. Not allowing fluid to pass through, unable to be affected by. The new raincoat is made of a material that is impervious to water. Impetuous. Impetuous. Acting quickly and without thought or care, impulsive. His impetuous decision to quit his job without a backup plan led to many difficulties. Inadvertent. Inadvertent. Not resulting from or achieved through deliberate planning, accidental. The mistake was inadvertent and not intended to cause harm. Incongruous. Incongruous. Not in harmony or keeping with the surroundings or other aspects. The modern art piece seemed incongruous in the otherwise traditional museum. Ingenious. Ingenious. Clever, original, and inventive. The ingenious design of the new gadget made it both functional and stylish. Innocuous. Innocuous. Not harmful or offensive. The remark was intended as a joke and was completely innocuous. Insidious. Insidious. Proceeding in a subtle way but with harmful effects. The disease was insidious, showing symptoms only after it had already progressed significantly. Juncture. Juncture. A particular point in events or time, a critical moment. At this juncture, we need to decide whether to proceed with the project or not. Juxtapose. Juxtapose. To place side by side for comparison. The artist's new exhibit juxtaposes modern art with classical sculptures. Laudable. Laudable. Deserving praise and commendation. Her efforts to improve the community were laudable and earned her widespread recognition. Lethargic. Lethargic. Sluggish and apathetic, low energy. After the long flight, she felt lethargic and struggled to stay awake. Lull. Lull. A temporary interval of quiet or lack of activity. There was a lull in the conversation as everyone waited for the results. Makeshift. Makeshift. Temporary and of low quality, but used because of a sudden need. They built a makeshift shelter using blankets and sticks to protect themselves from the rain. Mired. Mired. Involved in a difficult situation that is hard to escape from. The project was mired in delays and budget overruns. Mitigate. Mitigate. To make something less severe, serious, or painful. Measures were taken to mitigate the effects of the economic downturn. Myopic. Myopic. Lacking imagination, foresight, or intellectual insight, short-sighted. His myopic approach to problem-solving prevented him from seeing the bigger picture. Nascent. Nascent. Just coming into existence and beginning to display signs of future potential. The nascent tech startup showed great promise in the field of artificial intelligence. Nuance. Nuance. A subtle difference or variation in meaning, expression, tone, or feeling. The actor's performance captured the nuances of the character's complex emotions. Obfuscate. Obfuscate. To deliberately make something unclear or difficult to understand. The lawyer's convoluted explanations seemed designed to obfuscate the truth. Obstinate. Obstinate. Stubbornly refusing to change one's opinion or chosen course of action. Despite all the evidence, he remained obstinate in his belief that he was right. Onerous. Onerous. Involving a lot of effort and difficulty, burdensome. The new regulations imposed onerous requirements on small businesses. Overshadow. Overshadow. To appear more prominent or important than. The young actor's talent overshadowed that of his more experienced co-stars. Placate. Placate. To make someone less angry or hostile by giving in to their demands. The manager offered a discount to placate the upset customer. Plausible. Plausible. Seeming reasonable or probable. The scientist presented a plausible theory that explained the unexpected results. Polarizing. Polarizing. Causing strong division into opposing groups or opinions. The controversial policy was polarizing and sparked heated debates across the community. Pragmatic. Pragmatic. Dealing with things in a practical and sensible way rather than by theoretical considerations. She took a pragmatic approach to solving the problem, focusing on what would work best in practice. Precarious. Precarious. Not securely held or in position, dangerously likely to fall or collapse. The ladder was in a precarious position, making it dangerous to climb. Precursor. Precursor. A person or thing that comes before another of the same kind, a forerunner. The invention of the telephone was a precursor to many modern communication technologies. Predisposed. Predisposed. Likely or inclined to be affected by something. He was predisposed to heart disease because of his family history. Presumptuous. Presumptuous. Failing to observe the limits of what is permitted or appropriate, overconfident. It was presumptuous of him to assume that he would be promoted without discussing it first. Pristine. Pristine. In its original condition, unspoiled. The beach remained pristine and untouched by human activity. Prolific. Prolific. Producing a lot of something, very productive. The prolific writer published several novels each year. Prudent. Prudent. Acting with or showing care and thought for the future. It is prudent to save a portion of your salary for unexpected expenses. Quintessential. Quintessential. Representing the most perfect or typical example of a quality or class. Her performance was the quintessential example of great acting. Redundant. Redundant. Not or no longer needed or useful, superfluous. The use of redundant phrases made the report unnecessarily lengthy. Respectively. Respectively. Separately or individually and in the order already mentioned. Bob and Jane will take their tests at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m., respectively. Reticent. Reticent. Not revealing one's thoughts or feelings readily, reserved. She was reticent about discussing her personal life with colleagues. Revamp. Revamp. To change or improve something. The company decided to revamp its marketing strategy to attract more customers. Rife. Rife. Abundant or widespread, especially something undesirable. The neighborhood was rife with noise and pollution due to the construction work. Rudimentary. Rudimentary. Basic or elementary, not advanced. The rudimentary skills taught in the first year of training laid the foundation for more complex techniques. Savor. Savor. To enjoy or appreciate something completely. She took a moment to savor the beautiful sunset before heading home. Scrupulous. Scrupulous. Very concerned to avoid doing wrong, diligent and attentive to details. The accountant was scrupulous in checking every entry to ensure accuracy. Sparse. Sparse. Thinly dispersed or scattered, not dense. The vegetation in the desert is sparse, with only a few hardy plants surviving. Sporadic. Sporadic. Occurring at irregular intervals or only in a few places, scattered. The sporadic rainfall made it difficult to plan outdoor events. Subside. Subside. To become less intense, violent, or severe. After the storm, the winds began to subside, and the rain eased. Succinct. Succinct. Briefly and clearly expressed. The summary was succinct, capturing all the key points in just a few paragraphs. Surmise. Surmise. To suppose that something is true without having evidence to confirm it. I can only surmise that he was late due to traffic, based on his previous messages. Tangential. Tangential. Diverging from the main point, not directly related. The discussion became tangential, veering away from the main topic. Tantamount. Tantamount. Equivalent in seriousness to, virtually the same as. His refusal to cooperate was tantamount to admitting guilt. Timely. Timely. Happening at the right time, opportune. The paramedics' timely intervention saved the woman's life. Transient. Transient. Lasting only for a short time, temporary. The city's transient population meant that neighborhoods were constantly changing. Travesty. Travesty. A false, absurd, or distorted representation of something. The trial was a travesty of justice, failing to properly address the evidence. Trivial. Trivial. Of little value or importance. The argument over who should wash the dishes seemed trivial compared to the bigger issues they were facing. Ubiquitous. Ubiquitous. Present, appearing, or found everywhere. Smartphones have become ubiquitous in modern society, with nearly everyone owning one. Unconscionable. Unconscionable. Not guided by conscience, shockingly unfair or unjust. The conditions in the factory were unconscionable, with workers enduring unsafe and inhumane practices. Undermine. Undermine. To weaken or damage something gradually or covertly. The constant criticism was meant to undermine her confidence in authority. Underscore. Underscore. To emphasize or highlight something. The teacher used several examples to underscore the importance of following instructions. Unearth. Unearth. To dig up or discover something hidden. Archaeologists unearthed ancient artifacts that provided new insights into the civilization. Unorthodox. Unorthodox. Contrary to what is traditional or expected. His unorthodox teaching methods were initially met with skepticism but eventually proved effective. Vestige. Vestige. A trace or remnant of something that is disappearing or no longer exists. The ruins of the old castle were a vestige of a bygone era. Volatile. Volatile. Subject to rapid or unpredictable change, easily evaporated. The stock market can be volatile, with prices fluctuating wildly in short periods. Warranted. Warranted. Justified or required by the circumstances. the use of extra security was warranted due to the high-profile nature of the event. Winsome. Winsome. Attractive or charming in a sweet or innocent way. Her winsome smile and friendly demeanor made her very popular at the party.